You're listening to Holistic Living with Hazel, where you are informed, educated, and empowered to live your best holistic life.
Hey y'all, welcome to Holistic Living with Hazel, where we empower, educate, and inform to live your best holistic life. And today, y'all know how excited I get. We are right here on our second podcast. And let me tell you all, this has been an experience that I will never, ever forget, and we're going to continue to move forward. As we did our radio show, we are welcoming our guests that come on the show, but it's a little twist with Holistic Living with Hazel because they're not guests, y'all. They are co-hosts. And today we have Pastor Douglass and Jameia Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I love your new home.
Thank
it's great.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you. We're doing it, y'all. We're doing it. Upward and onward, right?
Upward and onward. We love it.
This is a long stretch from the radio show.
Oh,
it is.
But you're built for it.
I'm built for it.
You are.
I am. Especially when I have you all, my guests that come on the show, and you all are just always supporting. And you all, this is your second time.
Yes, it is.
So
It's
y'all something special.
Actually, our third time.
Yes,
it is.
Third time.
Yes.
So we family here.
Oh yeah.
Family.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And family enjoys one another, and we learn from one another.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I just cannot say how happy I am to have you here.
Awesome.
We're celebrating February.
We're excited about February.
It's a lot going on in February.
Very excited about February.
So let me see if I can just find out all the stuff that just was going on. Like we had Heart Month,
Heart
right?
Month.
Heart
Yes.
Month.
Then
Yes.
we had Love Month.
Love Month.
Love
We're
and
gonna
heart.
talk about that
Love
today,
and
y'all.
heart.
Love Month. Yes.
Don't talk about it. Hopefully everybody's Love Month is good.
Oh my. Oh
But
my.
if not, y'all gonna help
We'll get
us
some
out.
tips.
We gonna try.
Absolutely.
We gonna try.
Absolutely.
So we also have Black History Month.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
In the
Yes.
studio, we are still
Yes.
celebrating.
Absolutely.
All month
So
long.
I love it.
Is
I
there
love it.
anything else I'm missing?
Well,
Well,
there is a national holiday this
Wait a
month.
minute, did I miss a national holiday?
Yes.
And what
This,
is that?
this month is my birthday, February 23rd.
the national
Oh,
holiday.
that's the national holiday.
The national holiday. Help me, Hazel.
We
Well-
celebrate. We celebrate.
We celebrate all month or all year?
all year.
We celebrate
yeah.
all month of February.
Okay,
And
okay.
the 23rd of every month we celebrate.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
from
We
the
go hard
show,
in that.
from the show, we wish you an early happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I wish I
received that.
knew I would have had a cake.
That's all right.
And,
That's all right. Just
Is
your
that-
acknowledgement is good enough.
Okay.
Hazel, please don't play into it. Please. He went all the way past the real holiday. of February.
Okay, just to get there.
President's Day had to be there in order for them to be able to celebrate.
Yes. Look, we can't,
birthday.
we cannot, President's Day, we can't miss that.
President's
That
Day.
was Monday,
That
right?
was
okay.
Monday.
Okay, so we
That
got it
was
all.
Monday.
We got it all out, right? Okay. And your
Yeah.
birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we want to go back, to Valentine's Day
All right.
because that's why we're kind of here, right?
Absolutely.
We're here to talk about love.
Yes.
But the main thing is that we need to find out, with all that above, who do we need to love, right? Because that's the problem.
Yeah, it is.
That's probably why I'm single
That's
right
true.
now. I need some help.
That's
So y'all helping my viewers, but y'all helping me too, just so you know. Y'all got that?
We got that.
Okay.
We're just assisting. We're assisting. We're the co-hosts. We're assisting.
Well, we're here to find out, right? How do we know and how do we find our person? You all are going to help us out because we also have another special situation between the two of you all. You have shared 30 years?
30.
30 years of
Together.
marriage this month as well.
As of the 19th.
That's something to be very, very happy and proud of. Because honestly, you all, that doesn't happen nowadays. And we're going to talk about that.
It's unfortunate. It's almost extinct.
Yeah. And we are here to help our viewers, right? Because when I first put this topic on, I had a lot of feedback and a lot of questions that got me to say, there's a lot of people out here that really truly still believe in love, and they still want love, but they want to do it the right way, right? If there is a right way. And we're going to talk about that because I still believe in love, even at 51 years old.
Absolutely.
I still believe in it. I still witness it,
Oh, yes.
you know, and so I think that, well, I don't want to get too deep, but because we're going to get real deep, but I do feel like that the first line of defense is believing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right?
I
Absolutely.
agree. I agree
Absolutely.
with
But what we do know so far, right, before you all give your expert opinions, right, is that proximity is power.
Yes.
And we know that a person is going to add to you or they're going to subtract from you.
Absolutely.
That is correct.
So true.
So let's dive a little bit into what does it look like when somebody's adding to you emotionally, spiritually, physically, and y'all know me, financially, because that matters.
It matters.
I remember having you all on the show before, and we talked about that.
Yes.
And I think we
Absolutely.
shy away from that,
Yes,
right?
we do. But
Because
we shouldn't.
We
though.
shouldn't.
No,
I don't know why it's a negative situation when we start talking about finances, but we're gonna talk about it.
Yes.
It shouldn't be that way because we are looking at the holistic person.
Right.
And the whole thing is it should be complementary. And it's not a place where someone completes you,
Right.
but it's more so your whole self coming with their whole self
Right.
to make a new one.
Right.
So that's really the big deal. If we can really get to that place to understand that it's not about what I'm lacking, I need for somebody else to have.
Right.
No,
Right.
it is I need to be whole so that I can help another whole person,
Yes.
so that we can come together to be one.
I get it.
That's huge.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
Either one of you all can tell me, how did you all meet?
I will let him go because it's interesting. He gave a little bit of that yesterday as we both kind of wrote some sentiments on our anniversary. So I'll let him talk about it.
Wow,
Okay.
wow. So now we were high school sweethearts. 30 years in the game. I got to tell you, I know I don't look like I could be married for 30 years.
You don't. You don't.
That is a lot of stress-free living and a lot of hair dye. Okay, just want to let you know. But the truth is that we were high school sweethearts. Now people ask, did we go to the same high school? No, we did not. We actually met at work.
Yes.
Wow.
I was working at McDonald's, being the superstar that I am, working at McDonald's. And one Sunday morning in June, I believe it was June, one Sunday morning in June, a little lady just came in. She was working for the first time on a Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, this was the only Sunday morning that she ever worked in her life.
In my life till today.
In her life.
Only
God
Sunday.
has a plan. And we met that day. And if it had not been for God's movement in that, we would have never met.
Yeah, because I wasn't slated to ever work on Sundays. The manager that we both had at that time, she really, she pleaded. She was like, I know you don't work on Sunday. She said, I know your mom, I know all of that. She said, but I really need you this particular day. She said, we're kind of short staffed, got people on vacation.
Yep.
It's June. All the kids work where we work. So she said, would you just ask your mom? And I think I had her ask my mom. I mean, it was that deep. Because we were very involved in ministry,
Now, I'm pastor, and this is First Lady. But back then, she was the Holy One. I was not trying to do church.
I wasn't doing church like
I was
that.
not trying to
And
do
so-
church.
So did you take her order? Like, what
No,
happened?
she
No,
came
so I
into
was
work.
working.
You were
I was
working.
in working. I
No,
Did
came
you
only
ask her,
time-
could you help her or something?
Okay.
Oh, it's so much. But we worked on the same team that day.
Yes.
And I got to know him.
Well, she was working up front
but we were all
at the cashier,
teammates.
and I was working back on the grill, of course. You know,
so you kind of interact and you talk, and like I said, it was a lot of young people. Most of us were 15, 16 years old that were on staff. And so we got to talking and different stuff, but my manager is actually who persuaded me to call him.
Okay, so let me tell that story.
Okay.
Because I always say that she stalked me.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Not true.
Yes.
Jimmy, tell the truth, Shane.
That's
Yes.
not true.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yes.
It really isn't.
No.
Okay, we do a little.
No.
All right, so I'll let her tell the
Because
story. Go
I
ahead and tell
never
your.
would have done that.
Go ahead
But
and tell your
our
truth.
manager, she was in her 60s. My truth. Remember, we said we don't have truth. Persons. But no, my manager was like, y'all would just be such a cute couple. She said, I just can see it. She said, y'all got along. Y'all just laughed and talked. She said, why don't you call him? I said, I don't do that. I mean, I was like, what? He don't know me. I don't know him. She was like, I promise you. She said, he's a nice guy. He is a nice boy. She said, I just really think you should just call him.
Look at God.
And so I was like, well, I don't have his number. I said, we didn't even exchange numbers like that. This was the next day. That Monday.
Now check this out. Go ahead and tell that part.
So she was like, I'm the manager. His number is in there on the Rolodex. Go in the office, close the door, and see can you get him on the phone.
Wow.
This lady's like 60 some odd years old, Caucasian lady. Hazel, since I worked, I've never seen this lady
We've never
again.
seen her again.
You understand? And she was like, I promise you he is a sweet boy. Just call him. And I was like, this lady is really trying to fix me up with this boy.
Yes.
And so I was like, and here I am, 15. Okay.
She was trying to tell her that I was a catch. That's what.
Basically, at 15, and he was 16.
She was 15, I was 16.
He was 16.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And of course, I'm 15. I'm looking at this lady at 60. So I'm like,
Why
okay.
you trying to hook me up?
But I was like, okay, let me call, whatever. Because he was cute. I thought he was cute. All that's fine. But I was like, this ain't
Mark
really
that
my
down.
thing. I mean,
I was cute.
So I go in the
Y'all hear
office.
that?
Okay.
I was cute. Testing.
So I go in. The number that's on file, I don't know, but I'm thinking it's his home, not the home number for everybody. I call, his mom answers the phone. Because, of course, they see McDonald's. You had call ID and stuff back then.
Now, that was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. So
Right.
this is 85, 86, 86.
Before cell phones and all
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So I call the number. His mom answers the phone, and she says, she calls him to the phone. She said, your job is on the phone. So I'm sure she's thinking something like, oh my goodness, somebody from the job is calling.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone. He says, who is this? And I said, this is Jameia. You and I worked together yesterday. Miss Gail was like, for me to call you, blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting here like, oh my God. And so he says, you got a pen? Write down my number and call my phone downstairs. Because back then everybody had their own line. How about that?
Back then, the big thing was to have your own line with your
in the
own
house.
number.
But you didn't want, it was something you needed to say to her that she
Okay.
should say.
Listen, it was. Okay, I'm gonna start telling my age for real. It was macking time. It was time to mac then.
So I said, okay, and called him on his phone. And honestly, the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm feeling right now? I need to go get me some chicken McNuggets.
Join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy, where we provide an educational experience for both youth and adults. We offer both in-person and online learning. To learn more or join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy at chefs.com. That's kidsairechefs.com.
Choose First Place Properties and Hotels to be your first place when choosing your next stay. With 4 locations to choose from, such as Decatur and Dalton, Georgia, also Florence and Walterboro, South Carolina. Let First Place Properties and Hotels be your first choice.
It's
They doing it like that at McDonald's. I need to go.
Listen, it was,
For 30 years
That
later,
is
I think I need to go.
and I'm not trying to be biblical, but it was really a gleaning in the fields. She came to work, and I saw her.
Wow.
And it was a good thing. It was a real good thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna dive a little bit into that though, because
Yeah.
there are many stories of people meeting, and
Yes.
they say by chance, and
Oh yeah.
and so I mean, I feel like there's some validity in that.
Oh, I do
you know?
too. I do too.
Like I said, I'm about to go get some chicken McNuggets
Oh,
Okay.
right now.
You might find.
You might.
Hopefully they ain't working behind the counter.
Well, you was flipping,
Good.
so hey. So I love it. Like I
Yes.
said, we're gonna dive a little bit more into that, but talking about how people meet by chance. So I really felt like I really wanted to share with my viewers, a love story,
Yeah.
especially one that has lasted over 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you all know? Well, let me just say this. This is a viewer question.
All
So
right.
I'm going to take a little spin on it. How did you all know that this was the person God had for you?
Oh wow. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know. As early as we started dating one another, we didn't know then. Now that would be it would be a different answer to that, I think, if we were adults.
Right.
But either way, I believe in connection. I think that there is something about when you meet the person who God has for you.
Yeah.
There is something undeniable in that connection.
Yeah.
And it's not, honestly, to me, I feel it is based in so much more than just the physical connection.
Yeah.
There is something in it where you automatically feel the best interests of each other are at heart. Very early on, like you don't know a whole lot about this person, but already you feel that your best interest is at heart for them and their best interest is at heart for you. I feel like in a lot of cases you complete each other's sentences and statements. Like the mindset and mind frame of things seem to be so much on a wavelength of togetherness you can't explain it.
Right.
And there's just a lot to me in that connection that you're able to pull out and say, wow,
Yeah.
this just couldn't be. We couldn't, you have connection that you could be with somebody for 10 years and never have that kind of connection that early with someone.
definitely.
So, I think that's a big part of it for me.
I agree. Now, just to quote a little line from a song by one of my favorite artists, no, it is not Kirk Franklin, by the name of Prince Rogers Nelson. From the first moment I saw you, I knew you were the one.
Wow.
So for her, it was a little bit different. For me, I knew I had found something special. I knew when I looked at her, I was like, I don't know what this is.
Right. Because you were young.
Yeah.
You were young.
Yeah. And I was in a relationship.
Lord have mercy.
I've heard about that before.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't know what this is right here. But this is something special. And I just put it back to the side. And then when I got the phone call, I was like, wow, this is something special. And we dated. Now, we dated for about 8 years, on and off, before we got married. And a part of that was finances, of course. We're
Yes.
16. Getting married is just out of the question.
Right.
But we were connecting in ways that you don't normally connect with just people that you meet. And so there was a connection from the beginning, and that connection continued to grow. Sometimes you can have a connection with somebody, but then it fizzles out.
Right.
But you gotta be in there, and you gotta take note of the evolution of everything, and not just get caught up on those places of, ooh, I got a tingle. No. It has to be more than that, and you got to take note of the interactions. You got to take note, and it's not just checking the marks of what
Your
you
list.
want in a mate.
Yes.
Right.
But it's observing and seeing how they interact with you, how they are attentive to you, and people really can put on a show for a certain amount of time,
Yes.
but after a while,
Yeah.
after a while,
you're gonna know.
You're gonna see the real them.
Yeah.
You're gonna see. They're gonna reveal to you how they really feel, and I think that's what we kind of did. And at every episode, every great moment, every difficult moment, it was, how is this going to work?
Right.
And how did this transpire? So we knew through a series of experiences that's the one. Even though I thought it from the beginning that it was something special, I made sure that I didn't just base it on that first tingle.
Right.
That it began
I call
to
that
grow.
the euphoria stage.
It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
You all talked about, of course, you all started very young. So the evolution of time and, things happening. You get older, things change, perspectives change,
do.
things that
Absolutely.
you're looking for changes.
Yes, they do.
I always kid with my girlfriends, that I'm at the age now where I ain't really concerned about euphoria. Like, I'm not concerned about those goo goo gagas, little time. But I really don't have those anymore because life is lifing,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yes.
And I'm looking for somebody we can change each other's diaper at this point. That you are willing to change my diaper.
Exactly.
I don't have time.
Right.
We don't have
Right.
time for that anymore. Things that we are, when we're at this age, when you meet someone, people are dealing with aging parents.
Right.
You're dealing with putting kids through college. Like, you're dealing with all these things of life, and your perspective changes in where that person really, how they really view life. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes.
And
Makes
so,
absolute sense.
with the apprehensive part, talk about those stages for people who are at a certain age that I am, right? And we're looking for that person or trying to see if this is the person for us. And then part 2 of that is, did you all have any apprehensions as you all went through that evolution of change and dating and getting older?
Well,
So there's a one and a two question.
Well, I think for me, that is not really an age of getting older. That should be a question from the beginning, because I'll tell you my story. We were dating on and off. Like you said, evolution happens. So something else catches your eye or something like that, and you go off this way, and we came back together and all of that kind of stuff. But one of the telltale signs for me that I was ready to marry this woman is because she knew how to care for me. She had shown me a lot of things. She had shown me how she loves me. She had shown me how she was a ride or die and all that kind of stuff. But she showed me how she cared for me. We were dating, and we were at my house, and I fell ill. I was diagnosed with asthma, and I was having an episode. I no longer have asthma, but at that time, I was diagnosed and I was having an episode. And my mom was there. I was living at home, and my mom was there, but my mom is a strong Black woman. She didn't believe, my parents just didn't believe in going to the hospital. It was like, if you fall and you put some dirt on it and let's keep on going. Seriously, that's how they were. They're real old school.
The red dirt.
Right. The kind that'll stick.
Yes.
But nobody talked crazy to my mom. My mom was a strong Black woman, and she was ready to come back at you at any given time. Well, I got a young girlfriend that is trying to, see where she fits in all of this. And I knew she was the one. She didn't realize I knew at that point, but I knew she was the one because she said, I'm gonna go talk to your mama. Do we need to take him? I'll go ahead and take him to the hospital. And it was like, oh my God, you just went at my mom like that? And my mom was like, okay. My mom didn't even give her anything. She didn't give any back talk or anything, which was not like my mom. I said, this dynamic is different. I can marry her. I see that she's willing to fight for me, and she's willing to fight anybody for me.
Yes.
And so that showed me, she had already showed me that she could handle certain things. She can handle taking care of my child, because we had a child out of wedlock. And also showed me that she was able to be on my arm when we go to places, and she knew how to act and how to handle herself, which was very important to me. So when we find ourselves, when I'm getting awards, because that's what I was doing back then at the Kiwanis Club or different places, that I could have her on my arm as a young 18-year-old. She could fit on my arm and be nice. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not crazy, not looking all okay.
Right.
So she was compatible with me. But the thing that really stuck with me was that she was ready to care for me regardless.
Yes.
Regardless. So that was my thing. And I think we miss that because if they're willing to care for you, more than likely, they're willing to care for everything around you. And that means parents, that means if you have a child and something happens, whatever it is, they're willing to stick it out with you, because they're willing to take care of you.
Absolutely.
So that was my point.
Yes.
And
I
think
love it.
For me, with him, Hazel, what I come to know, I was always privy to things, going places. I mean, my mom took me to the Urban Nutcracker. I mean, we went a lot. We were exposed to a lot of things. But even in that being exposed to a lot of things, even as we were youngly dating, he was exposing me to even more things. Yes. And I understood.
You see him popping his collar.
Go ahead and tell your story.
I understood that he valued that he understood. She knows some things. She's cultured. She's been exposed to a lot of things, but I want to expose her to even more things. Right. And honestly, sometimes it wasn't things he was necessarily had been exposed to.
Right.
It was him being willing to engraft himself in that next level and making sure that he was exposing me to new things, and still till today, that's a big part of what we do. We're exposing one another to new things and finding things. And so all of that, I believe, is a part of how going back to how you know you have something special. This person is more than just a chance meeting or a chance relationship. But you talked about, at your age and at the age of being successful on your own, doing the things that you do, how do you deal with, the apprehensions or what may be there to say,
Talk to me, Miss. Talk to me, Lady Jameia. I'm ready. Like, I'm about to take notes.
But I think a big part of that is the safety, feeling safe in that person. Pastor Doug is absolutely right. If they're taking care of you, you have no reason to ever doubt they're not going to take care of what belongs to you or what comes with you. Because it's almost second nature. Yeah. It is second nature.
It is.
If I'm loving you, I'm caring for you, I'm making sure you are safe, I'm making sure you are good, then everything connected to you is then my concern.
Yes.
So that's one way you're going to be able to know as you're meeting suitors and, looking at and observing your time with them and giving that time to see when you figure out, oh, they care about Winston too.
Yes.
There it
Winston.
goes.
You know, I
Winston is
think
important.
Yes.
You know, and
Or the things that I strive to do, my ambition,
Bingo.
my
Yes.
those things,
and they become invested.
yes,
Not just, Hazel, you okay? It's good, but saying, how can I?
yes,
What can I?
Yes.
Do you need me? Can I be a part of?
Yes.
That's how you're knowing. Okay, this is deeper than that. They want to make sure I am safe and I am good. And I think that's probably sometimes as we're counseling couples and talking to singles and others, it's almost like that timing is not left there for you to be able to see and observe. We jump from meeting, being cool, I think I like you, to now we're already at stage 20.
right,
And
right,
everything in between that, being able to see how you feel about me and what I do and how you can be engrafted, or should you be engrafted, how you care about what I care about, how you deal with what I care about.
Right.
Are there things that I may talk a little bit about that I'm concerned? Well, do you take that on and then you say, well, what can I do about that to relieve or alleviate the concern?
You taking me there, and I'm just gonna have to go there, okay? Because you're hitting some points that I always talk about. But before I do that, I want to, because that was one of the questions from one of our viewers about, do we feel that men and women look for the different, is there something different? And you all already hit it. Women typically
it's safety.
for safety, men caring.
Yes.
How you were not so much caring as can
As
you
a
be my
nurturer.
mama,
Correct.
but caring, nurturing.
Right.
So y'all hit that point, and then Jimmy, you went on to talk about, what that man or woman, when they're attached to you. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that there are people that are attached to you, and then there are people that are assigned to you.
Absolutely.
I don't really want people attached to me, because attached people, and I want you all to break this down. Attached people, for me, are people who have their hand out when they get attached to you. Yeah. What can you do for me? Yeah. This I'm looking to see what you got going on. Right. A person that God assigns to you says, how can I assist you? How can I help you in your dreams? How can I assist you? Guess what? If you don't need to be distracted, guess what? I'm going to be holding people back and holding situations back so that you cannot be distracted, so that you can be whatever God needs you to be. That, to me, is an indication of somebody, or the difference between someone being assigned to you and attached. So I want you all to kind of help me. That's my thinking. What do you all think about that?
Oh God. I'll start by saying, this is not a business transaction. This is so much more than a business transaction. Does not mean that business is off the table. Does not mean that finances are off the table. Does not mean that there are certain aspects of it that needs to be focused in that manner. But it has to be so much more. It has to be more than that. It cannot stay a business transaction, because business transaction, people that deal with relationships specifically under a business type of mentality, what you see in them is, I'm only going to connect with you because I see what I can get out of you.
Attachment.
We
Yes.
can't. This is not that type of relationship. You can be the next B and J. You can have that power couple kind of thought process. But if that is only financial, only business, only what I can get out of them, and not what I can add to them, then you're misleading in this conversation. I think even going back to the apprehension part, I think first, before we deal with the apprehensions, we have to deal with self. And the self thing comes in because in this place, getting serious, moving into a place of marriage, there cannot be an escape clause. You can't have an escape clause. You should not have a non-compete clause. See,
That's a whole other topic right there.
we've got to make this right. We've got to make this be about a oneness and not what 1 + 1 = 2. This oneness that comes out of this means that both of us win.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Every time.
And so whatever, if she has a great day, then I'm leaning to her because she had a great day.
Yeah.
If I have a great day, she leans over here with me. So we always come out winners. And so the challenge is finding somebody that's on that same page with you in order for you to get this same thing. But if you're one of the people that you're looking at what you can get out of somebody else instead of what you can do to make this thing right, then you're part of the problem.
Yes.
And you'll continue to get into, we know people that have been married 4 or 5 times, and you continue to get in this place because you think that there is an escape clause. When you think that it's not an escape clause, guess what we do? We begin to see how we can work this thing out, how we can add to, how we can transfer out, how we can begin to evolve into this place of oneness.
Right.
And if you're not willing to do that, then what are we doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that attachment and being assigned to attachment, I look at attachment as literally something that has grabbed onto you and sucking the life out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And what you figure out is you'll do horribly while it continues to be attached to you.
Yes.
And all you got to do is release it in order for you to have life and have it more abundantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
When that is the case, then you know it's an attachment.
Yes.
It's an attachment. But if you know by you removing it that it could cause you more harm than it does good, then you might need to figure out that might be something assigned to you.
Yes.
It may be something assigned to you or someone assigned to you. So assignment also to me says that we both have something for each other.
Right.
That yes, I have life and support and pushing and everything else for you, but you got that same thing and maybe even more for me.
Yes.
We both have something. It's reciprocal and it will continue to be reciprocal.
Yes.
And then we're not draining each other in that reciprocation. Right. We're both gaining something from that. Not financial always, not material, but sometimes just to have that level of support in somebody else.
And we have to realize assignment means something needs to be completed.
There are tasks.
Right.
There are
and
tasks.
So when you know that you all have come together on assignment, we know it's nothing but good things because we know we all have tasks to do in each other's lives. And we have to do whatever it needs to be done to get that assignment completed.
Absolutely.
And I love your point with the, for our viewers, because that was one of the things is like, a lot of people say, I just feel drained in relationships. And you hit on that because when someone's attached to you, they're like putting a straw in you and it's sucking you dry. So yes, which means then those individual and collective assignments will never get completed.
Correct.
That's right.
Because you're not even in the right place.
No,
Right.
no, they're not even
They're not assigned to you.
They're not assigned to you.
It's more of a business transaction. It's more of what can I get out of you?
Yeah.
And I think we're all in a state, I know, just being transparent, I have assignments.
Yeah.
And I have to be very particular on who I allow in my proximity.
Absolutely.
Because my assignments are not just based on what I'm going to get out of it. There are many people that, because I need to complete this assignment, are affected.
Yes.
Correct.
And that also tells me that there's forces out there that are trying to get these assignments not complete. So we have to be very,
yes, we do.
We have to have a discernment and we have to have an understanding. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I've got to dive deeper, and I want you all to go with me with this because it's life or death.
Yes,
It
it
is.
is. It is.
It
And when you say that, some people think you're talking about death in its finality. But no, it's the life of you being able to fulfill purpose
Yes.
and succeed in purpose,
Yes.
or the death of you becoming stagnant
Yes.
in purpose and in destiny. So it is important who you're choosing. But see, you understand that piece, so it will make you very careful in your choices of the suitors you choose.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not you
Yeah.
choose, but who choose you,
Yes.
and who you
Yes.
choose to say yes or no to.
There you go. There you go. It's a lot of suitors, but I ain't chose not one yet.
Okay,
Listen.
okay, because there's certain things you need to be able to see.
Because when you understand that, you got to be ready for, that alone time.
Yes,
You do. You really do.
yes.
Someone, one of the viewers asked about that. We'll get into that alone time. Yeah, that alone time. But I do feel like that is crucial. I do feel like that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it, Pastor Doug, about, self-evaluation, self-love. And, these are not just cliches.
No, it's not.
No,
No,
they
it's
are
not.
real. They are real points to me. Real points of maturity. That self-reflection is huge.
Yes.
And it's a piece that we find many people shy away from.
Yes.
They're very good with holding the mirror up to everybody else.
Yeah.
But when it comes to holding that mirror up to yourself and saying what you see, what do you see? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing about you? Yes, some of what people are saying is absolutely true. They're not envious. They're not jealous. They're not coming for you. But if they're saying, girl, your attitude is horrible, that's why they're not
Right.
approaching you. Dude, you real standoffish.
Yeah.
You just kind of give this
Right.
whole hook vibe everywhere you go.
Yes.
So nobody really wants to, even approach you. This is real stuff.
Yeah, real stuff.
It's real stuff. And so you have to be able to see you and then see you in the reflection with love. That's not loving yourself because you see yourself. See yourself with love and say, hey, it's some places here I got to round these rough edges off.
Yeah.
And I got to become some of what I'm wanting to receive.
A lot of people are not willing to do that.
Wow.
They
Wow.
want this, and like you said, the checklist.
Yeah.
But they're not willing to become that checklist. They're not willing to put in the work.
Right.
And loving yourself the way you want someone to
Yes.
love you.
Yes.
At Valentine's Day, hey, I wanted to go on a trip.
So you took yourself
And so I
on a
took
trip.
myself on a trip.
Listen,
There
and
we go.
there we go.
Anyone
There
coming to
we
my
go.
life, you have no question on how to love
No,
me.
because
I
I've
showed
done
you.
that, and I've
Right.
done that.
Well, the thing is that
Yeah.
anyone that comes into your life, because you are established, you are settled, you can do whatever you want to do on your own. That means it can make it easy for the man, or it can make it tough for him based on his mentality. Because one would say, I don't have to do anything for her. She already got that. So what I do is because I want to do, and I make sure that I do that. And so that makes the difference. I'm not trying to do it to impress you as if you can't do it for yourself. I'm not trying to do it to hold it over you and say, if I wasn't here, this wouldn't be done. Right. I'm trying to say, listen, I'm here with you. You don't have to do that for yourself anymore.
Right.
I can handle that.
Ooh,
And
I'm
so,
ready for that.
but the place comes in. The place comes in is that we then bounce off one another,
Right.
because then you're going to want to reciprocate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the place of assignment, I think there's 3 places of assignment. The first place is when people are assigned to you, then you have to see if you are assigned to them. Now, when you're talking about kind of this boo thing, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever you want to call them, that's going to be a little bit different. But any relationship you have, some people are just simply assigned to you for a season. And they have tasks that they need to do for you that's going to benefit them elsewhere. It's not like a reciprocation. And the same way, we have people in our lives that we are assigned to assist, support, help, do all of those things. And we know that we're not looking for that from them. Now, I know that's a little crazy. Some people ain't got there yet, but that's it. But the last one is when the assignment is reciprocated. That's when you know, when I'm assigned to you and you are assigned to me, then this is the type of relationship that could grow into something. But if you just assigned to me but I ain't assigned to you, God bless you. Thank you for doing what you do. If I'm assigned to you, I'm going to do whatever I need to do and I'm going to move on, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But when we're assigned to one another, that's when we begin to reciprocate. And it's like a cyclical thing that we find ourselves meeting each other's needs, meeting each other's desires, and moving into a place where we begin to connect on a whole different level.
So it's like when you are doing things with an assignment, you're helping one another.
Yes.
That's when you know. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Noted. Duly noted.
Listen. If I'm doing everything and you can't help me, that's a telltale sign.
And I need to be able to identify that pretty early.
That's the draining part. Right?
That is.
That's
that
the
is.
draining part.
That is. And I can be, if I'm assigned to you, and I know I'm assigned to you, but you're not assigned to me, then it's not draining when I do for you, because I understand that what I'm doing is because I'm assigned to you.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? If I'm attached to you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake like I'm doing some stuff for you so I can continue to suck out of you what I need. And I'll be there. I'll cheer you on, but you're going to have to foot the bill.
Yeah, but I'm only going so far, though.
Right.
Pastor Doug, I'm sorry, I need some wine. I need a glass of wine. In the backyard, give me a glass of wine.
What kind we doing? What kind are we doing?
Choose First Place Properties and Hotels to be your first place when choosing your next stay. With 4 locations to choose from, such as Decatur and Dalton, Georgia, also Florence and Walterboro, South Carolina. Let First Place Properties and Hotels be your first choice.
Join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy, where we provide an educational experience for both youth and adults. We offer both in-person and online learning. To learn more or join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy at kidstherchefs.com. That's kidsairechefs.com.
Fellowship with Rhema Wind Ministries in Morrow, Georgia, where Pastor Doug and Lady Jameia Johnson empower people to thrive. Visit Rhema Wind Ministries online at rhemawind.org. Organic worship, authentic leadership, real life.
We on that part of, well, we know how to look for, what to look for. So now let's go into when we have found our blessing. Right? I need to go on into that part. What are the dangers of not listening to who God has for you?
Oh, wow. Go ahead.
I think we are all seeing what the dangers are with what we are seeing with the divorce rates, what we are seeing with relational issues between men and women and
let's
partners.
talk about domestic violence.
Absolutely. We're seeing the not listening, what us deciding who we want to tie and connect ourselves with and attach ourselves to what it means and what it is. There are dangers as in financial loss.
Absolutely.
There are dangers in life loss.
Yes.
There are dangers in children being pulled
Yes.
from 2-parent relationships into single-parent relationships, which aren't necessarily always so fulfilling. Some single parents, a lot of single parents are doing the doggone thing.
Yeah.
But that is not every child's story.
Right.
So there are a lot of things that we see that are the danger, that have come from the danger of us being attached or us being in places and spaces where that wasn't necessarily the God person. It may have been the person who we thought we wanted to be
Right.
with, but not necessarily listening or paying attention enough to know that this is ultimately who I should be with.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, we're right back to that same place, because you have to have a relationship with God to know that God has someone for you.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know that, then you'll fall for anything. And you'll begin to make your own decisions based on either your checklist, he did this, he did this, he did this, he got this. And we'll say, okay, by our scorecard, he the one. Let me go ahead and just be free with him or her, either one. And so we find ourselves there. And then when it doesn't work out, then we're crying and we're upset and we're saying, but I love her though.
Right.
And she's going on loving 4 other people. And so we're in a rough spot. We're in a very rough spot. And so it is really at a place where we have to figure out, God, what do you have for me? And we have to be at that place so that we can begin to make some determinations on our checklist.
Yeah.
And so many times on our checklist is filled with everything that's going to make us be calm, make us feel good, make us feel comfortable.
Right.
That's everything on our checklist. I want him to make this kind of money so we can be comfortable. I want him to do this. I want him to open the door for me. I want him to make sure he remember my birthday.
Well, then we come back to that.
But all of those things, and we have a very shallow checklist.
Yes.
I want to make sure, and I'm not saying shallow in a bad way.
Right.
I'm just saying that it doesn't necessarily look like your checklist had any kind of consultation with God to see what he has for you.
Right.
And so you have to put yourself in that place of vulnerability. Now, experience is a good teacher.
Yes, it is.
And so all you have to do is stop saying things like, I don't want to waste my time. Time is never wasted. You ain't got to worry about that unless you just sitting still. That's the only time that time is wasted. So when you go out on dates and all of that, you get a chance to see, and you get a chance to observe what is really for you and what is not.
Right.
Sometimes you don't know that. We forget. I don't want to get too biblical.
It's okay. It's good.
We forget.
We love Jesus on this
Oh,
show.
Yes, we do.
yes. Sometimes we forget that Ruth, we talk about Ruth and Boaz all the time, and Boaz finding Ruth gleaning in the fields. We sometimes forget this was Ruth's second marriage.
Yes, it was.
This wasn't her first
Yes,
marriage.
it was.
And her first marriage wasn't a bad marriage.
No, it wasn't.
And so we have to say, what do you have for me? And even when we make the wrong decision, God gives us a way out.
And we learn from it.
We learn from it.
We should.
Yeah.
Now, if you
should.
come out of it, we say this all the time in church. If you're ever in a battle, there should be some spoils
That you come out with.
Yes.
You should.
Whether it's a victory or not, whether you can claim it as a victory or not, you should have some things that you can pull in and receive from that. And so you got to put all that stuff in place.
Right.
Because some of us don't know us enough. That's a big problem.
And that's the big problem.
And that's what we're going to do these two viewer questions because I think they're important. Then we're going to leave out with what you all want to leave with the viewers. But that self thing, y'all, is important. Pastor Doug, I've thrown my list away. Okay, I used to put my list in the Bible and fold it up. When I open it, it would come right back. I wasn't getting what I wanted.
What you were saying was, God, give me that one. Give me that one. And God is saying, you gonna keep on opening up this thing, cause that ain't it.
But that's what I threw it away, and I started focusing on me.
Yeah.
And not in a selfish way.
Right.
But my take on it was, if I focused on me and continue to grow to be a better me, I'm a big thing on energy. That energy will come to me. I just need to focus on making sure that when it is and when it's time, I'm ready. I'm ready for what God has blessed me with. Yes.
Another way to say that is that you are what you attract. And so you have to be, if you are broken, tore down, confused, something, and you're trying to find your person to rescue you, then what you're going to attract is a broken, tore down, confused person that's trying to get rescued themselves.
Right.
And so you have to be whole. When you work on you, then you begin to. This is the other thing that that people miss in the whole story of Ruth and Boaz. It wasn't by happenstance that Ruth was in the fields. As a matter of fact, she went in the fields doing her thing. It was other ladies out there, but he saw her, and he invited her. When she went back home, her mother-in-law told her, let's put on some makeup, let's fix your hair, let's put on that dress right there, let's do all this to get you prepared. Because she understood that he wasn't looking for a broken down something or another. He was looking for something that was already whole.
Right.
And whole doesn't mean perfect.
Right.
Whole doesn't mean perfect.
Doesn't mean without
and whole,
flaw.
Right.
whole doesn't look like what you think it looked like.
Right. Well, I would say if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's it.
So,
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
You might find them in the line at the McDonald's.
That's it.
Yes.
Or a Dollar General.
Dollar General.
Trader Joe's, whatever
Well,
you like.
you know it.
You don't ever know.
That's
you never
right.
know.
You gotta stay
You never
ready.
know.
I think that, with these two questions, and you'll answer it. And I get where the viewers are saying, because when you are, again, in that stage, you want to make the right decision, right? So what are some things that, Pastor Doug, I'll let you answer first. What are some things that a male should be looking for in a mate? And I know we touched on that earlier. I think I love the assignment thing where, if you both are reciprocating that, you really need to pay attention to that, and that's something you don't look over.
Right.
Because we know nowadays this time, ain't a lot of people doing that.
That's exactly right.
So if you were talking to a male, like what are some things that they should be looking for?
I think one of the best things they should be looking for is compatibility. We don't hear that often. I need somebody. I was looking for somebody that was going to be there, not with all of my same interests or anything, but that was going to meet me and push me at the same time. And so I needed somebody that was going to be my motivator, that was going to be my cheerleader, and that was going to have their own stuff going on. I was never looking for somebody that was going to live in my shadow.
Right.
And so in order for you to have a compatible helpmeet, they have to have qualities to help you. And so it's not a place where you just go at it any kind of way.
Right.
But you need somebody that is compatible you also need somebody that is compassionate. I need for you to be able to handle my flaws as strong as I am. I need you to be strong enough that you can anticipate my flaws and make them look like that they are of null effect. I don't need you to panic when you see one of my flaws. I need you to be like, let's just cover that up. Let's just cover that up and let's keep on going. Because if you can handle me in my weak space, then I can trust you with everything. So gotta be compatibility, compassion, and just for me, you gotta have a Christ relationship. And I know we got a lot of different viewers on here, but this Christ relationship is pivotal. Higher power, universe, whatever you want to call it, but I need you to believe in something, and I need for you to be able to articulate what you believe in, and make sure that what I believe in and what you believe in is the same thing, so that we can continue to grow together. Compatibility, compassion, and a Christ relationship.
Y'all heard that, fellas?
I'm just saying.
Help us out, Lady Jameia.
Well, of course, I'm not going to give you the 3 points like Pastor.
Right, he got to get the points.
He got to get the points. But
all of them started with C2. You saw that?
I saw that. I said, he in his flow.
Y'all know y'all wrong.
But one of the things I would say for a lot of ladies, we have to get to a place, number one, that we are secure in who we are.
Yeah.
Yes, having a mate, having companionship. I don't know many women today who do not want that and who do not desire that, and we're supposed to. That is who we are. Is who we've been made to be. But we gotta be secure in who we are. Yes. Who are we without that? Yeah. What do we bring to the table? What our intelligence, other things. We got to know who we are inwardly and outwardly first. When we know that, then to me, we are able to then begin to articulate what we see for ourselves in a mate. Not just about who they are, but who we're going to be with them.
Right.
We were made to be helpmates. So in that, what am I bringing to this table? I'm not talking about money. Yeah, that's important. We'll get there. But I'm talking about, can you handle this man and who he is and all of who he is? Are you in a position to handle his flaws? Are you in a position to handle his weaknesses in places? Or are you going to be weak in those places too? Who's going to stand strong? Can you do that? Can you hold yourself up and hold him up at times? Are you willing to do that? Or is it that you see a man totally in a space where he's always the one holding the world up? Because as a woman and as a helpmate, I'll tell you, that can shift quickly. And it will many times over. So we got to make sure we know who we are, the strength of who we are in this piece. The other thing we have to do when we're looking at the male person that we want to be covered by, because I'm going all there. We love Jesus here. Right. So one of the things about us as women, if we love Jesus, we're saying, I am trying to figure out who this is that's covering me and covering my house. I'm saying, where are you taking us? Where are you taking us spiritually? Where are you taking us financially? Where are you taking us in our day-to-day? Who are we going to be in the culture? What are we doing? Can you tell me? Can you articulate that to me? Wow. No, you don't have to be all those things today. Right. But is it in your desire to be more and to see yourself as more? Wow. And then I figure out, how can I help with this? You've given me a whole outline of what you want to do and where you see us being and where you see us as a family being. What's my part? Can I take my part? Can I uphold this? Because it's going to be times he's in a little bit of a weaker state because he's doing what he's doing. Can I uphold this and do this while I nurse him back to health and get him back where he needs to be? So looking for those pieces. I said to a young lady not too long ago, number one, he can't take you somewhere he doesn't know where he's going. And number two, you can't follow when you don't have a track or a roadmap with him showing you.
Right.
Where you going?
Right.
Where we going?
Right.
So we gotta be able to, as the two of you have to be able to say, we see where we want to be.
Right.
We see where we're going. And now let's figure out our pieces and our portions of this, of how we get there.
That's right. My dad always says, growing up, you always strive to be an asset to someone, not a liability.
Totally.
So when you sit at that table, I need you to be able to say, there should be laying out the plan, but I need you to know where you need to fit in and how you need to fit in and bringing your stuff with it.
Absolutely.
And that's just how that's how I've always thought about it, and just listening to you all, that was right in line. It's right in line
It's
to
right
it.
in line. The problem I think, Hazel, is that we've turned so much into finances.
Yeah.
It's the financial part. It is important.
Yeah,
Listen, money answereth
it's
all
important.
things.
Listen.
It
It's
answereth
important.
all things. But it does not answer ignorance in how to treat people.
Yeah.
It doesn't answer that.
That's
so
true.
we gotta be clear that there are other things that are just as important to us.
Right. We're closing out, but I do want to add that, don't be afraid to talk about finances,
No.
though,
No.
because
At
that is,
all.
especially when that is one of the leading causes of relationships breaking up. And I think one of the big things is that when you have a real man or real woman, when finances are not, especially in a man, because especially when they know their place,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And they know their role, all those things when it ain't right, it ain't
Listen,
funny,
it's tough.
y'all start acting crazy.
Listen.
So that's why I feel like it's important
And the women do
that
too,
we
though.
talk about
and the
it.
women do too, though.
Both.
Yes.
Both sides.
Because,
Yeah.
Both
because I
sides.
always ask the question, can you handle it if I go through a period where I'm not generating,
Right.
I'm not the breadwinner? Can you handle it?
Well, if she's an asset, then yeah,
Then
because she
can.
got,
Correct. Then she can.
yeah,
But
because I got you.
but you,
Look,
you
you done held me
Yeah, I'm
down
gonna hold you
now.
down.
you
I'm
gotta
gonna hold
have
you
a ride or
down.
die.
But
you
you
gotta
know,
have a ride or
always
die.
I ain't dying with you. I'm gonna ride with you, but I ain't dying with you. We
Die-
gonna
listen.
live together.
Listen, here's the thing with that. Dying is definitely figurative, and so I got to know that you're going to be able to risk your life, not in the place of jumping in front of a bullet.
Right.
But I want to know that you all in this,
Yeah.
and that you don't have that escape clause,
Right.
Because as long as you got that escape clause, you ready to flight
Right.
anytime.
Right.
And I'm like,
So true.
this is simple. I'm gonna come out of this in
Yeah,
a couple of
sooner
weeks,
or
in a
later.
month.
Right.
But you already ready to fly already, because now you're not being fulfilled
Right.
in the moment. And we gotta understand that this relationship thing, this marriage thing, ought not be about me being fulfilled 100% of the time.
Right.
Sometimes I'm gonna have to sacrifice. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lay myself on the altar.
Right.
Sometimes I've got to give more than I'm getting.
Right.
And if that's the case, that is for a period of time. It ought to be where I coach you back up so that we can get back on
Right.
the road going. But we gotta have that kind of understanding first. Can you handle if I break down? Can you handle if I no longer can do the things that I used to do?
Right.
Can you handle that?
Right.
And so we gotta be able to talk through those things as a couple before
honestly.
we
And
honestly.
be
And
honest.
if you
Be
can't,
honest.
if you can't, then you got two choices. You either drink milk, work on yourself so that you can,
Right.
or you say, check please,
Yeah.
I need
Right.
to get on out of this.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to do one or the other. But honesty and being forthright in all of that is going to be pivotal.
Yeah.
Because if God sent you to him, you ain't gonna have you're not gonna have an issue when everything breaks down.
That's right. That's right. Ooh, this was a lot to unpack,
Ooh-wee.
but I needed it. And it was a lot of my viewers that needed it, male and female. So I hope that, this was as informative, if this was as helpful. Holistic Living with Hazel is about being empowered and steps to move forward. You know, we don't major in the minors. We go straight forward. We're solution focused, and I just hope that today was that for you. Pastor Doug, would you look into the camera and just leave something for our viewers that came in, tuned in today, and really was looking for answers because they're really serious about, you know, spending their life and choosing the right person in order to do God's will and to be on assignment. Can you just leave them something, and then we'll be out of here?
Awesome. Well, I just want to encourage you that there is, don't worry about looking for quote unquote soulmate. Just be prepared for when God brings the one to you so that you can get connected to the right one. There is someone out there for you. The Bible says that God said it is not good for man, male or female, to be alone. And so we have to know that he is true to his word. He will bring a suitable suitor to you to bring forth all that you want and all that you desire. Remember this. Be on assignment, because when you're on assignment, he will meet you right there.
All right. Woo! Okay. Thank you all for joining today. I want you all to stay tuned to our next episode. We are going to dive into our finances, real estate, and more. So I'm excited about that. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Holistic Living with Hazel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Holistic Living Podcast with Hazel.
Choose First Place Properties and Hotels to be your first place when choosing your next stay. With 4 locations to choose from, such as Decatur and Dalton, Georgia, also Florence and Walterboro, South Carolina. Let First Place Properties and Hotels be your first choice. Fellowship with Rhema Wind Ministries in Morrow, Georgia, where Pastor Doug and Lady Jameia Johnson empower people to thrive. Visit Rhema Wind Ministries online at rhemawind.org. Organic worship, authentic leadership, real life.
Join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy, where we provide an educational experience for both youth and adults. We offer both in-person and online learning. To learn more or join Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy at chefs.com. That's kidsareschefs.com.